Got the report today that Joe Schoen will be returning as Giants general manager despite having one of the worst records in all of football over the past 4 seasons. He's totaled 22 wins over the last 4 years. 9 of those came his first year. Just put that into perspective. I'm not that great at math, but just put that into perspective over the last 3 seasons. Before we get into the video, I'm going to break down, is it a good thing to bring Joe Schoen back with the young nucleus? Should Joe Schoen have been fired? Did I want Joe Schoen fired? Who are the potential head coaching candidates? Also, a report from Josina Anderson that should make us a little bit happy, take a collective breath as Giants fans. And Joe Schoen speaks to the media, so I want to get into all that. But before we do that, share, like, subscribe this video for all Giants content. Going to be hot and heavy in the offseason, mock drafts, firings, hirings, head coaches, college football players. It's all going to be out there, guys. So follow, share, like, subscribe. Let's just get right into it. Joe Schoen coming back on his 5th year, right? A lot of GMs and coaches don't get their full contract. The Giants are giving that to Joe Schoen. And I have to mention the fact that with what John Mara is going through, right? Life is bigger than football. We all understand that. But unfortunately, we have to discuss the football end of things from our side of the coin, because that's what we do. John Mara doesn't want to go through another head coaching search. He doesn't want to do it right now. A general manager search. He doesn't want to go through all that right now. Joe Schoen brings the familiarity, and although I wanted Schoen gone, I understand from a life perspective why Joe Schoen is being retained. That aside, I could also understand why Joe Schoen's being retained in terms of the young nucleus of players he's brought onto this team. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatteraboo, Tyrone Tracy, Malik Nabers, Theo Johnson. You look at the defensive line and Brian Burns, Abdul Carter. These are guys that Joe Schoen has brought in that has been very successful with the Giants. So if we're going to look at it from that perspective, 4 years is a long time. 4 years is a long time to build a football team. And he's getting a 5th. So this is where I wanted to head into Josina Anderson. Let's get to Josina Anderson's report here. When this is going to make Giants fans feel a little bit better about the current state of the head coaches, right? Because my biggest fear was we give Joe Schoen the 5th year. Okay, fine. I don't agree with it. But now that's going to limit the crop of head coaches that want to take this job because they're unsure what Joe Schoen's status is going into 2026. The Giants could start 1-6, 1-7, 2-9, 2-10, like they've been accustomed to doing. Joe Schoen might not have a job. Now you're a head coach in limbo. You have no idea what's going on. You're just waiting to get fired by the next general manager. It's a rotation that just does not bode well for winning consistently. You see it all across the NFL now, right? So going into the Josina Anderson report, which is going to make some Giants fans feel a lot better, it made me feel a little better. So Josina Anderson says, not only has Joe Schoen known he's officially returning as general manager for the Giants, my understanding is that the news had already been relayed to some of the candidates that have been for head coaches with positive feedback given in return. So obviously that is a very good report when it comes to limiting the crop of coaches that the Giants are going to have that are going to come to interview with this team. The Giants are the most attractive job in the NFL right now. It's not even close in my opinion. I think the Giants do definitely they got everything, right? The Giants right now have the most attractive job in the NFL. They got the quarterback, they got the young talent, they got players on the defensive side of the football. If it was just a coaching issue, do you trust Joe Schoen to make the right decision on the coach? I don't want another coordinator coming to this team. I know Chris Shula, I know Clint Kubiak. They are hot names right now. I want an established guy like a Kevin Stefanski to come to this team. Good offensive mind, bring over Jim Schwartz to coach this defense. I think the Giants could benefit greatly from a guy like Kevin Stefanski, who's still young, 43 years old, got a terrible rep in the last 2 years in Cleveland, got a washed-up Deshaun Watson. He got thrown into the whole Shedeur Sanders situation where him and the general manager didn't even want to draft him, and then the owner was saying it was a whole mess over there. But you're looking at Kevin Stefanski, who's a 2-time coach of the year. You don't just get 2-time coach of the year by luck. You have to be a good head coach. He's a good offensive mind. That would be the first name I'm looking at with the coaches that are currently available. If a John Harbaugh becomes available, then you make the adjustment to that. But that was the Josina Anderson report. Getting into Joe Schoen speaking to the media today, I just have a short clip here of Joe Schoen speaking to the media and what he said, and in terms of the attractiveness of the Giants job. And I'll get into why he's not wrong, but we'll see what he says here. So Joe Schoen was asked, why should a head coach want to come to this for the Giants with less stability at the general manager position?
I would also say not just the head coaching job in terms of this being an attractive destination, but if I'm an offensive coordinator and you look at, okay, they got a left tackle, they got a left guard center coming back, they got a number one receiver, Theo Johnson's shown some promise. Hey, Scat, Tyrone Tracy, Jackson Dart, I could probably work with that defensively. They've got rushers. They've got Dexter Lawrence in the middle. Javon Holland, Paulson Adebo. I could probably work with that. So my expectation, hopefully, is we're going to get the right head coach that can also, bring in a very good staff, that being not just offense coordinator, defense coordinator, special teams, on down the line. So I think there'll be an attractiveness there as well. I would also say not just the head coaching.
So he's not totally wrong in terms of the attractiveness of the job for the New York Giants. They have a lot of the pieces in place already. And if you want to go, if you're pro Joe Schoen, your argument is basically that exactly what he just laid out. They have the franchise left tackle when he stays healthy. They got 3/5 of the offensive line coming back, continuity. They got multiple running backs in the back in Tracy and Scat, a number one receiver in Malik Nabers. You're going to add to that receiver room possibly in the draft with another young Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson, somebody like that to make the offense even more intriguing. And then you go on the defensive side of the ball, you have Abdul Carter, you got Brian Burns, you got Kayvon Thibodeau, you have rushers on this line, and you also have a lot of money that was been delved into that secondary with Paulson Adebo, with Javon Holland. You have a good cap situation moving forward next year and the year after. This year you can move a ton of money around and open up more cap space if you're Joe Schoen. So yes, this is an attractive job for the Giants, but one thing that you just can't argue, you can't deny, is that they've won 13 games over the last 3 years. Can't debate it. It just can't be debated. 22 wins in 4 years, 9 of those wins the first season they went to the playoffs. Can't debate it. The last 3 seasons have been utter dog crap. It's been dog crap. They've been out of it by Halloween. Out of it. They can't beat anybody in their own division. I don't count this last win against Dallas as anything. They can't beat anybody in their own division. They can't do anything over the last 3 seasons besides look inept in every facet of every imagination. Things that still scare me with Joe Schoen, and people might not think it's that important. I think it's extremely important, as we saw with the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game yesterday, special teams. Joe Schoen has ignored special teams for the last 3 years. He continues to employ a punter who can't kick the ball inside the 20-yard line. And when he does kick a powerful punt, it goes right into the end zone. He continues to employ a Graham Gano and extended him, knowing he gets injured getting out of bed. Brought in Youngway. I mean, the kicking situation this year must have cost the Giants 2-3 games by themselves. And then he finally finds a kicker who was a top 5 kicker in college football last year that he could have had for the beginning of the season if he was scouted correctly. So these are things that scare me to death. They continue to ignore the kick and punt return situation. Getting into Deontay Banks is a glorified kick returner right now. They continue to ignore special teams, and that really irritates the hell out of me. But again, Kevin Stefanski would be up there right away for me. 2-time coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski. He's a guy that I truly think the fact that the Browns released him, I think Kevin Stefanski took a breath and he said, I'm out of this situation. I think the Giants and Kevin Stefanski would be a match made in heaven. I think he's gotten the raw end of the stick the last 2 seasons in Cleveland. He got traded for a Deshaun Watson who was washed up the second he stepped into Cleveland. He got thrown into the Shedeur Sanders situation, which was not his fault, and pressured to play Shedeur Sanders. And that whole situation blew up, and it was never continuity. He had Joe Flacco and brought the Browns to the postseason. Baker Mayfield brought the Browns to the postseason, 2-time coach of the year. Again, you don't win that by accident. This is an offensive mind, 43 years old, still very young. An offensive mind that could very much help Jackson Dart, very much help the offensive scheme that the Giants haven't had in a decade. The Giants have yet to have an offensive scheme that matches to what the NFL is today. Kevin Stefanski could bring that. Great offensive line coach. You bring back Carmen Bracillo. You bring Jim Schwartz over as defensive coordinator with his exotic blitzes. It's the complete opposite of Shane Bowen. Now you're cooking with the coaching staff because you're bringing in Stefanski, who's going to build a good staff, is what the Giants need. They need a good coach, an established coach like Stefanski, who can mask a lot of the problems depth-wise that Joe Schoen has built on this team. You need Joe Schoen to be the general manager, and you need an established guy like Stefanski to be the leader of the franchise and help Joe Schoen a little bit when it comes to personnel. There's nothing wrong with that. If you guys got this far, I appreciate you. Share, like, subscribe. More Giant content coming out every single day as we are a franchise that's pretty much in purgatory right now. So, guys, thank you for watching. Follow me, Instagram, TikToks, all the good stuff. It's going to be in the description. Check it all out.